Greetings, one and all. Chris Courtney here, new Pragmatic. It's St. Patrick's Day. No, it's not. I just wear green all the time because I don't know. Green's like energetic. It's rejuvenation. It's rebirth. Spring's coming. I know it's January, but I'm talking about spring because I can't wait. Waiting for the warmth to come back. But in the meantime, we're gonna work on some web projects. Got some questions here this morning. Looks like Rebecca's back. Looks like Tedgel's back, working on her portfolio. Had a Luigi sighting. All right. Was able to work with Kara last night. Kara's got just really fantastic prototype going. So many people, like Katie's pushing through, like so many people doing big things. So I'm super excited. I think I got James and Luigi back to back tomorrow, so it'll be a lot of fun. But with that, let's jump in and see if we can help some people this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And that's Twitter. That's really not what we need. Although, I bet you, no, that's not what we need. We need to be over here. That's right. So I'm going to start with Tedgel because she's right here. She needs to fix the spacing on the top nav. She wants page links to be in the center and social media links to be on the right, and the logo that stays on the left. This sounds like Flexbox space between. Maybe. That's what it sounds like just off the top of my head. I think there needs to be a little less space. So basically when we're talking about like the creation of the nav, we're talking about little buckets of content. And, you can use Flexbox really effectively to separate out these concerns. So I would probably look at that. There's going to be some media query magic in there as well. And not to say magic, but so long as you close your brackets on your media queries, I think that you typically won't blow yourself up along the way. Sorry, the heater has kicked in. I was talking about the need for that warmth thing, and right on cue. So let's go ahead and let's jump in, if I can possibly find Visual Studio Code. And as you can see, I've actually, hey, look, I was like, wow, this looks really familiar. That's because it's Tedgel's project. I want to check status on this. We're good. So I'm going to pull origin master. I'm going to get her changes, pull them in. And you can see that we are here. She's got her nav. Let's just go ahead and shut everything else down. So yeah, so these are other sections. So really all I'm going to do today is I'm going to focus our attention right up here top. So it looks like she has FA. That tells me you've got Font Awesome being pulled in. I'm guessing if I click up here, I will find Font Awesome, and I have. So I found Font Awesome. I've also got Animate coming in. You also got Animate on Scroll. So we're getting up there with the stuff we're pulling in. The one thing I would say about Font Awesome is it's great to use when you're getting started. Once you figure out what you need, if it's just a couple of icons, I typically sub it out. And it's not because I don't like Font Awesome. It's just because it carries a lot of weight, and I don't necessarily want to draw all of Font Awesome in for a LinkedIn and Behance icon. That said, they're there, and we've got them. Let's get the nav styled up and working. So I see you've got top nav, my top nav. You've got a logo. Inside of that, you've got okay, I'm trying to figure out. I see bars. So there's links here, and then there's this bars. Okay, and then there's a little JavaScript. Well, no, that's not sure what that's doing. I'll have to look into that. So, and then we're into the case study. So Don't need any of that stuff. So basically, you added this yesterday, and that's fine. For like if I wanted to point this to a LinkedIn, this is just going through and getting like a URL. So I'll just grab my Twitter really fast. It's just that. Grab it, drop it in here. So I'm just going to replace it for the LinkedIn. What I would advise that you do is make sure that this opens. You don't want people navigating away from your case study or your portfolio. So I always have this open in a new tab, and I just happen to have a lot of code pins already created for this, just this very thing. So here's a nav that is pointing to a few things. You want this target blank, and as you can see, I've got a lot of stuff that just, this is a really simple menu, but it's got the this is all CSS, by the way, but it's got the responsive drop down already built. But you want that target blank. If we can come back over and figure out where you're at, it's right here. So, you'd come in and say, okay, href target blank, and that's going to open it up in a new tab. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to go ahead and, well, it says you already were there, but I'm going to go, because we've called in new changes, I'm just going to create a new go live. Yeah, so Bergen, it's still loading a little slow, but I think it's the weight of this. Is that YouTube? That appears to be YouTube, so that's interesting. I'm gonna refresh really fast. So see that unstyled, like that is amazing that it's taking so long. I want to go in and take a look at how this is being called in. Your page shouldn't like have to wait just to load. So you get reset style. I mean, it's so heavy though. Why is it so heavy? Like if I'm just curious. I'm gonna come through, and I'm just gonna note that out really fast. Yeah, I'm gonna note the whole thing out. Just go poop. I just want to get rid of it for a second. And I'm gonna refresh. And actually I'm gonna put this in. It's still doing the blink. Why is it still doing the blink? I bet you because I bet you it is attempting to load every one of those videos. So yeah, I want to go through, and I'm just going to note out the videos for a second. I want to see if our load is, because what we can do, oh yeah, you've got like some fig caption stuff here. What I would suggest that we do is we put a lazy loader in here to lighten that initial load. I'm just trying to see if I can speed up, because these are all, oh well, these are just images. I don't necessarily need to note those out. I need to note out the videos that are in here. So you've got video responsive, and again we'll undo these here in a second. I'm just trying to video responsive. Oh, these are all still Vimeo. Okay. Maybe that will, maybe once you replace those, that will lighten the load. But I want to refresh. Still dragging. Still doing a lot of redraw. So that's not great. How much video do we have left in here? there's that one. There's those four. So there's 5. There's the voiceover. There's 6, 7. Okay, so you've got 7 videos still left in here. That's gonna. So let's look up lazy load video. Because I really do think that's going to be the key to making this work. And here's basically the thing: off-screen images. You've got so much weight there. So image class lazy, and then essentially you follow this pattern, and you're targeting that class of lazy. So we will circle back to that, because basically it's saying image lazy do thing, and I think that is, that's going to be something that significantly speeds up the way this loads. And it's got the same thing for video that doesn't autoplay. There's a placeholder, and then you can call those attributes in. But I think there's this is getting into a little bit of JavaScript, but it is something that comes with some like y'all.js, small SEO friendly lazy loader, and this gives us an overview of how to utilize it. It's pretty lightweight. So you initialize, and then you apply the class lazy, and it does the thing. So this should, like class lazy load, this should lighten. What about users without JavaScript? So here's a way to like backfill if somebody doesn't have JavaScript turned on. It's like they've thought through the issues, and I know that that's not where you started the day. You didn't start the day looking for y'all.js, but when I come in and I try to load your project and it's choking on the video like this, it's choking to the point that it's not even styling the page. We have to pay attention to it, and just for our purposes of seeing whether this is it really the video that's doing it, I'm going to get rid of just all of them, because at some point this has just gotten out of hand. And that, by the way, is not your fault. It is interesting that some of these are missing. Oh, no, it's not missing. It's just that should be there. That should be there. That should be there. So, sometimes it's just indentation. We can go back and fix all the indentation though. Let's see the voiceover. Got more. Boy, you got a lot of video here. Of course, you are the lady of video, so it makes total sense that you would have a lot of video. Yeah, we are going to come back and we're going to put lazy load in here. Okay, so okay, and you've got a little bit of you got a little bit of JavaScript here at the bottom as well. Now, of course, I recognize AOS init. That's how you're doing your animations, and we've covered that. Let's go through and Let's just see how that's going to load. It's loading faster, but there's still a blink that's occurring, and I want to know why. So let's inspect element. Is it because of that? I can't think that it's because of that. Okay. Look at performance. Okay. I'm looking for like the really long block. Where is it? Where is it hanging? It's not really showing me what I'm looking for. Playfair is taking a little time to load. Although I don't think you're using Playfair. So that's interesting. Got it. Sorry, I saw... all right. Well, you know what? We're going to come back to this, but I do think that we want to wrap lazy loading into this, so that we have an opportunity to lighten the load on this project significantly. But I'm going to undo a lot of what we did because we were noting things out as we went. So yeah, that's back. Yeah, it's all back in there now. I think. So yeah, it's all back. Yeah, so we'll save it. Come back over. I want to stop it and relaunch it. It'll take a second to load, as it did before. But we're gonna attack lazy loading next. Just to say it. But let's talk about this nav. Let's look at how this has been constructed. So according to your notes, I don't think so, but I mean, we can lazy load that too, Tedral. Let's get down here. Let's find the MP3. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna note out the audio everything. We're just gonna note it out for the time being. I'm gonna test it just to reload it. No, it's not the audio. I mean, it's still doing the janky, can't quite figure out what it wants to do thing. And don't worry about this breakpoint. This breakpoint's just kind of a weird size. I just need my inspector over here. So let's pull audio back. It's not a huge deal, although, sorry, the tags will always mess with me. So that said, we've still got this nav. So let's take a look at what exactly you want to do. Fix the spacing of nav. You want the page links to be in the center and the social media links to be on the right, and the logo stays to the left. I guess the question I have about this is, and I'll get away from y'all for a second. Um, is this supposed to line up with? Is this supposed to go all the way out here? Is it supposed to line up in the middle? I don't really know. I'm guessing if I look at the structure, I'll be able to tell. So we've got nav here. So here's the top nav, and you got logo here, and logo is okay. So you've gone in and you've added specific margins, and this is okay. So this is where we get into ourselves into trouble, because we try to get responsive, and suddenly, because we've got that hard margin in there, like there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do with it. So we definitely want to restructure this. We want to take the margin left off of there, and let's continue down. Okay, so here's the social media icons, and they are margin right. And then we've got pages, and here's pages. And what do we got on pages? Okay. So basically, all I want to do is put Flexbox on this, and then let the chips fall where they may, because you've got it structured roughly how I would like to see it. I want to see pages. I want to see social media icons. I want to see logo. But if I put a Flexbox on top nav, it's going to see logo as a child of that. It's going to see social icons as a child of that. It's going to see pages as a child of that. And I can use space between to segment out those things to be positioned equally. I could also do, I could put, pages in a very specific spot. I could put social media icons in a very specific spot. I could put your logo in a very specific spot. But I will pause on that for a second. I just want to get Flexbox into the top nav, because if I do that, and if I say display flex, and then I say space, what is I've got it here. Justify content space between. So I'm going to say justify content space between. That does it, although because social media icons are ahead of pages, I need to move those so that they flip. Now there's additional spacing issues here that I think need to be addressed. What happens when this comes down in size? It looks like you're going to what appears to be a drop down, but it's not really functioning right now. I would suggest taking a look at this drop down that we've created, because this gets you the menu, and then the menu goes down, and you get the clean drop down that I think you're going to eventually want anyway with this. I mean, you've pulled that icon in. That icon is fine. This is just CSS. That's just CSS. So if I pulled the menu class out of here and said, I just want this to appear. The other thing that you need the icon class here that's currently shown, and there's a fair amount of CSS that's at work here in the background. But I really think that something like this is probably where you're, based on what I'm seeing here, it looks pretty close to where you're trying to go. But as far as this is concerned, this is really all about, putting Flexbox into the nav and further styling from that point. So there's like a couple of things that I would suggest doing. One, getting Flexbox involved. to getting staying away from using a icon for the hamburger menu thing, and coming back and just drawing that in CSS. And just to kind of give you an idea, it's got this navcon. If you take this away, you'll immediately see like the second line, the third line went away, and that's because it's drawn. These are being drawn before and after. This will be the top line. That's being drawn before and after the div that's in there. If I can, so we've got the span. Sorry, it's a span, but it's a span of nav icon, and nav icon is just drawn as a simple line. Height 2 pixels. It's display block. It's got that background. It's actually not even a line. It's just a little bitty box with a width of 18. If I change this width to 40, it's going to get wider, and then this will probably do some crazy stuff. Yeah, so it gets bigger. But I have it at 18, so it's smaller. I'm going to include a link to this so you can have all the code. But I will go ahead and, again, I'm not completely sure that this is where you're going, but I do think that when we come over to your code, if we come down to style and we look at, we have top nav, I believe. Sorry, I've got to come all the way back up. We have top nav here. If we switch these around, and you had a question about the logo. I'm fine with the logo. It's kind of weird. I find personal branding to be really hard. I lucked into the fact that I have the fact that I have two initials that are the same means that I can kind of nest them inside of one another, and I'm lucky in that regard, because I can kind of create something around that. But it's not the most important thing in the world. Nobody's going around with their logo like on their chest like a superhero, so I wouldn't sweat it too much. But that said, let's go ahead and go back to top nav. I'm going to say display flex and justify content space between, and we'll save this and we'll refresh that, and do that blinky thing. We're gonna come back to we had the logo thing. So, boy, that's really interesting. Did I forget to save I might have forgotten to save the HTML. And I did. But we still have a lot of hard-coded. So let's inspect element. So that's logo that we need to pull the margin left off of, and then we need to do the same for social icons. So we come back over. File logo. Let's kill that one. And then we will do social. And really, you don't need anything on social. But I'm gonna leave it in there in case you do need. I don't want you drawing up like a random style. So I'll just leave social icons right there. It's not causing any problems. I will clean it up a bit. So now we'll look at it. Now you've got got this. The interesting thing about that is I really like the navigation to kind of control the height of that nav. And right now your padding is, I want to put a background on this so we can kind of see it. So I'll say background color red. All right. I really want this to be driving. So, at that size, once it starts pushing the space down, that it's officially in control. And I do believe that if you were to do like a 30, that gives you a very even size. So that's like 60. That's 60 plus the 20 in the middle. That's 80. That's a reasonable depth. It also turns, the other problem that we have is without that, there's this little gap between the bottom of the nav and the actual clickable element that gets you to those pages. So so I would suggest changing that to 30. It's 1 pixel difference from what you have on your logo. It's not going to create an issue because you don't have a background color in your logo anyway. And then you can lose the background color and you're off. Also I showed you a minute ago about this LinkedIn being a link now. If you click it, it takes you to my Twitter profile, and that's fine. Although the problem there is that was meant to be a blank tag. So what happened? FA LinkedIn. Oh, I did not save that. So target equals underscore blank. Could have swore that I saved that. So let's go back. If I click now, it will open a new tab, and that's important because you don't want people clicking away from your portfolio. If they've landed there and they click away, it's very easy to get lost. Okay, so we don't want people to get lost. I'm also going to pull my URL out of there. So this would be your URL for LinkedIn. This would be your URL for Behance, and you're off to the races there. So before we leave, though, I want to go to pages. I want to find those anchor tags. Pages. Dot pages. Weird. Okay, so how are you drawing that in there? Div class pages. I'm hoping that it's not just on the anchor tag itself, because that would be weird. Inspect elements. Top nav A. Okay, well that's fine. I can roll with that. Top nav. Oh, of course I'm not in the right one. Top nav A. Here we go. Change that to 30. Save it. And now that's what we need it to be. So this is a lot better. I do implore you to take a look at, instead of using this, using that other approach that I showed you, and then we can circle back on the I was going to say something. We can circle back on the lazy load once we get this responsive nav going. Although I thought I remembered there was a there was a little, you were asking about an underline, and that's something that is relatively easy to do. I was guessing it was an underline on these. On hover, so you have top line hover. This is where I would probably do border bottom. So border bottom, let's just do 10 pick solid red for right now. Save it. Come back over. And you see how it bounces? We don't want it to bounce, obviously. But it's bouncing mainly because of we haven't already held that space. So there's a way to work around this. And basically what we need to do is we need to add a border bottom to the top nav to begin with, change it to the background color of the nav, which I'm guessing is white. Let's change this from being 30 pixels we'll do 20 pixels to the bottom because we have a 10 pixel border on the bottom, and then we'll put 16 pixels on the other side. And this will give us the ability to do that hover, and we can add transition and whatnot if we'd like to. Yeah, but that essentially takes into account, like, it looks like there's the same amount to the top and bottom, but there's really 30 to the top and 20 to the bottom, and then a white border of 10 pixels, and then it turns red on hover. How you want to, do you want that to like draw out? Do you want that to fade in? There's lots of different ways that we can approach that. But I will save this and push it across because there's obviously updates that need to be done. But that puts it in I think a much better spot than where we began our conversation just a wee bit ago. So with that said, I will do something now that I often forget to do. I'll get status, get add, get commit -m, update nav, get push origin master, and that pushes it away. So, I'll take a short beverage. So Rebecca has a lot of work she's doing on her project as well. That's weird. That still says style 9. Oh, I think it's because well, no. Let's see here. Status. Well, get status, rather. Okay, save it. There's some broken styles here at the bottom. What's going on? Interesting. So there's this Flexbox test, and I'm not sure what it's related to. But it's got some notation here that's basically throwing some errors here. Again, I'm not sure what this is related to, but I would definitely encourage you to go sort that out, as it's throwing some errors. And you've also got like a double curly bracket here, so I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure what this is about, but at bare minimum, you want to go through and like delete that, because that's going to cause an issue. But I'll leave that be, and let you sort out what you want to do there. Okay, let's go look at some CrossFit. So we'll make our way over here. I will come back to y'all. It's kind of funny. Yesterday, Matt Bass jumped in and he was talking about, hey, I want to add some interaction to my homepage, and I wanted to do this flip, but I'm not sure really how to do it. So I investigated, found a few different resources on doing CSS flip. All of them were missing this backface visibility issue with WebKit, but I had a lot of fun working on this. There will be an exercise forthcoming that will be a little more nuanced, but I just want to say hi, Rebecca. Hi, Tejal. Hi, Matt. And one of the funnier things that I discovered along the way was this perspective. You would think that perspective would be something that, like if I said 2000 on the perspective, you would think that like there would be a issue because it gets, you think goes larger. Actually, it's when it goes smaller, the perspective gets really crazy. This perspective is, if you take it away, these will appear if you take this away, these will appear pretty flat. They don't have any dimension to them at all. You add perspective back in, and they suddenly have a little angle to them when they flip. If you go up in size, so here's 500, they get more angle. But if you go up too high, they get they get very entertaining. Oh, so entertaining. And you can only imagine what happens when you say 10. Um, I entertain myself way too much. So little nugget there on perspective. I kind of like 500, to be honest with you. It just gives it just a wee bit more without getting into the nuttiness of that. I enjoy CSS too much. I'm sorry. So that's card flip and CSS perspective. It's all in there. I've linked to it in the general channel. I'm dabbling around in all these different exercises. That's one of the reasons why when this question came up yesterday, I'm like, yeah, people should know how to do that. I'll put something together for the folks. So we'll talk more about this in a bit. It doesn't pertain to anything this morning. It's just in the migration down to the gym class schedule over here. I remembered that there was this card flip thing, and of course the funny haha of that weird perspective sizing issue. So let's come on over. Yeah, I'll leave that page. I'll leave this page. So I was looking into a lot of things, to be honest with you. This is the class schedule that Rebecca has linked to, and the issue we ran into on Monday with regard to Rebecca's project was that you could have Elementor and you could have this plugin called Timetable, but you couldn't have them exist together. Because the moment that we came in and we attempted, and we'll go back for a second. The moment that we came in and attempted to edit that calendar page with Elementor, the calendar got blown away. So this injects a particular problem for Rebecca because she has a client that wants a calendar. They want it to be a certain way, and there really wasn't a functional way to make that occur without making some, like I can't have a header, or I can't use Elementor. So what we want to do is we want to go over here. We've got all pages, and so the one thing I want to point out is you already have this gym class schedule, Rebecca. It's already there. If we edit this page, you'll see this. It says all events. That is essentially pulling in that other table, and that's why the URL is called timetable. So you've got that in there, but if you hit edit with Elementor here, it's going to blow this away, and it's because those two things just aren't compatible together. I wish they were, but they're not. So I'm going to blow this away, knowing that we can always get it back. Okay, that we can always get it back. That's not an issue. So I'll say edit with Elementor. When I edit with Elementor, the timetable that we had before is gone. But we can come in and say, okay, well, I'll just come in here and I'll begin editing with Elementor. And what Elementor will allow you to do is it will allow you to drag in one of these. It'll allow you to drag in one of your, well, it was an HTML block. And the HTML block, when I drag this in, I can then get that iframe again from Google and place it in here, and it will create a thing, and that's great. The problem that we have is that unless I don't see where your header is. It it's as if your header was created just on the home page. And what we really need to do is, if we're going to make this work, is we need to back up and we need to create a template inside of Elementor. So if we go to, let's see here, I sometimes forget how to even get out of Elementor. I believe it's here. I've got to go back. I'm going to exit to dashboard. It's weird. It's got dashboard settings and it has exit to dashboard. So it's a bit of language. You got to come over here to Elementor. Oh, actually, it's templates. So if we say templates, and now we say, okay, well, I'm going to add a new template. And Elementor is saying, oh, you want to add a new template, and this is going to be a header. And we'll say platform header, create that template. It opens up this. And essentially, we need to, they have a lot of templates here for you. And I think this one looks like the one that you used. So I'm just gonna pull it up, and I think it is. It's right there. We need to pull in your image, which is site logo. If I click this, is it style? Advanced. How do I get that image in there? Site URL, site logo. I'm just going to say sure. I'm not sure why that's down there. Okay, so this is basically like what it looks like. I'm not sure if you had a search there, but we should say publish. Where do you want to display on your template? And we could add a condition. We could say include or exclude. If I want to exclude it on a singular page, and I said I want to exclude it on the front page, I could. I don't think you actually want to exclude it. I think you want to save and close it. Essentially, you want this showing up on every page. Now, the trouble that you're going to have just initially is that it's probably going to show up, if I had to guess, it's going to show up on the home page. So if I come in here and I say CrossFit, I think you're going to have like a double nav. If I'm right, you'll have a double nav here, and I'm not, of course. It may be because I didn't save it yet. But I think if let's exit out. I still think that you've got to be able to add. You've got to be able to choose the image here. We'll come back to that. I'm going to exit the dashboard. Stay on page. I guess I need to update. Yeah, save and close. Exit the dashboard. So we got platform header. We want to go back over here to your pages. Go back into gym class schedule. So here's gym class schedule. I'm going to edit with Elementor. Now we should be able to add, no. I want to add a block, or my templates, platform header, insert. Yes. I believe so. So there's that thing. Okay. So you've got your gym class schedule. I don't really think this actually shows up here. This is just telling you what it is. We now need to. Although that's weird. If I say edit with Elementor, I'm curious. Did we get that border around the regular page? So now, of course, I've got Elementor open in multiple tabs, so it may crash. Yeah, we don't have that. It goes edge to edge. So I'm very curious about this and why that's showing up there. But we'll come back to that in a second. Here we need to add a widget. And actually, we've got this footer here as well, so that's questionable. You know, actually, let's update this. I want to just make it to the scheduling page from over here. Let's exit out of Elementor here. Well, that was fun. I didn't want to like leave the site altogether. So I want to go to scheduling. Yeah, that's weird. That's not what I want. Okay, so there's a bit of question here, because when I go, like this is, oh crap. Okay, so you're gonna need a different menu, because you have everything in here is an anchor tag, but if you pull in the same menu, it's trying to go to an anchor tag for home inside of timetable, when actually you need it to go back to the home page. So that's that. We're gonna have to do some work there. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some work there. Okay. That aside, let's table that for a second. It does go back home, which is good. So we can make it back home from the logo, although you need to get the logo in there. We can make it to the scheduling page from there, although this is showing up in the wrong spot. So we need to investigate why Elementor is placing it like below this thing. But now you can drag in this HTML element, and now that HTML is there, and inside of here is where you go through and you drag in the you sent something over. What was it? Oh yeah, the Google Calendar. So let's see what this gives you. Yeah, I'm not completely sure why. I'll just go over here to settings. So we want to import, export. Oh no, sorry. Don't want to add. I want to go to general. I want to we did this yesterday. What did we do? I don't want to add a calendar. I thought there was like a share. Something not showing up that we had yesterday. I'm gonna have to go back to our notes on this, Rebecca. I see Fonzo. Hi, Fonzo. Yeah. That's not what we want. Golly gee, just you'd think that I'd learn how to click these things. Nope. Yep, this is. Where where did we put it, Rebecca? Yeah. Okay. So this was our controls that we had before. Settings, left side screen. Click the name of the calendar we want. Okay, so that makes enough sense. The calendar we want is none of these. But then I can go into integrate calendar and I can get this URL or this embed code. I can customize it, but I'm not sure why I'm not like you gave me quote access, but I'm not sure why it's not showing up. I'm just going to do it this way again to illustrate exactly the difference here from what we did yesterday. Is you said you wanted a weekly view, and you can do that right here. So let's back this up so that we have a clear view of what's going on. I'm going to come back out of here. So you get into Google Calendar. You go under the sprocket for settings. You go down. So settings. Not a great usage of language there. You click on the calendar you want. So for whatever reason, the one you shared with me is not showing up here, but I'm going to click on mine just for purposes of demonstration. You come down to integrate calendar. So at integrate calendar, you are going to go to the iframe here, but you want to customize it first. And in the customization stage here, I would suggest taking just everything else off of here because it's not necessary. Like, get it as lean as possible. Get rid of the border, all of that. Change the background color if you want, although that didn't do a thing. And then come down and say, I want the week view. And this gives you that. And then from this point, let's see here. Starts on Sunday. You can edit the calendars that you want to display. And I think it's at that point that you can copy this code and take it over into Elementor, paste it right there, and now that shows up, although that is not taking into account the changes that we clearly made. Oh, it's because the embed code's right there, Chris. Sorry. Let's change that out. Obviously longer, and now we have the week-long view. We still have the issue of this not going all the way across. We need to sort that out. But that's how you embed. You need this. You need a menu that's going to work across all your pages. And session expired, of course, because of course it is. Please log in to continue where you're logged. Yes, thank you. I would like to log in. You need this to work, and you're going to need another menu that's not hard-coded to just the things that are on the home page. So there's a couple of different things that need to happen, but we have a calendar. We have a widget in here that's going to display on that page that they have control over. So that's good. I'm going to edit this calendar though for the moment because I don't want necessarily my calendar showing up in there. I will update this, and we will need to circle back on this when we have our call in like 2 hours. But that's how you get that calendar in here. Let's do some more investigation on what's going on with Elementor and why it's showing up inside of the page, not at the top of the page, and we'll go forward from there. All right. So that said, it appears that we have. It appears we've reached the end of the feedback loop. Thank you, CouchBot, for announcing it. That was a solid hour. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chris Courtney. Thank you so much for participating today in today's edition of the Feedback Loop. I will see you all again tomorrow. Take care.